Hello students, I welcome you all to Current Affair Lectures by Azad ICS Academy, and today we are going to see the current affairs of 13th of February, right? So there are two important articles that we want to discuss. One is editorial and another is about how AI can make drug testing precise and relevant to human biology. So AI can make drug testing precise and relevant to human beings or human biology. On 6th of January, the US Food and Drug Administration, that is FDA, it has proposed a draft guidelines to use artificial intelligence to assess the safety effectiveness of a drug. So we can identify whether this particular drug is good or no. Okay. So what does this particular guidelines focus upon? It is focusing upon AI's expanding role in improving safety evaluations, minimizing dependence of animal testing, and increasing efficiency in the drug development. See, I think all of you have seen a lot of movies and things wherein what happens is the drug testing is basically done on animals. Okay, they check on the rats and they check on different animals and how they are responding to it, and depending on that, they also then start their trials on human beings. So hence, instead of relying on animals, they are expecting AI to intervene, and AI can give better drug development and increase the efficiency as well. So now let us see drug development pitfalls. Okay, so the US FDA has noted a sharp increase in the use of AI in drug development submission. In 2016 and 17, there was only one AI related submission per year, but this is tripled in the next 2 years. By 21, there have been 132 AI related submissions, showing the tenfold increase in the previous year. Now, what are the challenges in conventional drug development? Okay, traditional drug development takes nearly 10 years and costs over $1 billion. Okay, if I want to, take a particular drug, if I want to test it, so conventionally, what I'm going to do is animal-based process, which will have a success rate of only 14%. So hence, this is going to take a lot of time, and it is also going to take in a lot of my investment. So it takes nearly 10 years and over $1 billion to develop a drug. So hence, that also if you are using an animal base or something like that. So hence, which is going to increase my time and investment. So what it is better here is, and the success rate is only 14%. So emerging technologies. Okay, animal testing does not always accurate predict human responses due to the differences in the metabolism and genetic variability. Something that is working on rat does not mean it will work on human beings also. For example, rat can eliminate some drugs from their bodies much faster than humans, which means that the same dose level, humans would be exposed for a drug for a longer duration. As a result, the data of compound obtaining by the results with the rats will not be able to adjust with that of human beings. As I already told you that whatever is working good for rats may not be good for human beings. Because see, rats can excrete the drugs easily, but human beings are going to keep these drugs for a longer period of time. Hence, the effect of these drugs on human beings can stay for a longer period of time and have a bad impact as well. Right. So the response of human beings to different population around the world to drugs and diseases also vary according to the age, sex, pre-existing medical conditions, and genetic variabilities, among other factors. So it is often difficult to predict this range of response from homogeneous lab breed animal populations. It's very difficult for us to identify whether this particular lab breed animal population can, easily do it or not. So it's not easily, you cannot easily say that, yes, we can do it. So this is something that is very, what you mean to say, inevident or false to do it. So role of AI in drug development. AI is now safe across different phases of drug development. In the discovery phase, AI helps researchers analyze larger database to select potential drug candidates. AI model predict drug absorption. So these are some of the things that AI can basically do. It can help us in identifying the people whom are there, and AI is going to predict whether the absorption, distribution, and elimination in the human, reducing resilience on animal trials. AI tools, access how different populations, depending on their age, etc., how we can, do this kind of different varieties of trials. AI can predict unintended side effects of a drug as well, helping improve safety assessment. AI in predicting drug safety. Okay, so we'll see. AI-based model can assess a drug potential risk before the human trials begin. So before the human trials begin itself, we can identify, okay, these are the issues. Okay, so apart from this, okay, it can be safe and clinical trials conducting in 3 phases, depending on the requirement, right? Now, how AI can predict how a chemical component might affect the organ, helping reduce the unexpected affected adverse effects. A recent study has showed a safety toolbox that integrates multiple data types such as chemical properties and exposure level and predict toxic risk as well. So this is something that AI can basically do. So you can see here it is talking about the safety toolbox, okay, which is having a computational model, and it is going to predict whatever the side effects are by this particular chemical component on the entire body, on the specific organs and component, isn't designed to the target as well. Now we have a lot of challenges when it comes to AI. Okay, where does AI fall short? The challenges, the accuracy of AI model depend on the quality of the data they are being trained with. So if we are giving a proper data, then yes, good. If you're not giving the data which is enough, or if the data we have is not enough for us to, give it to the AI, in that case, what's going to happen is AI is going to fail. If AI is trained on biases or incomplete data, the prediction may not be reliable. So you cannot rely on it completely. Okay, the transparency is another issue. As many AIs do not disclose their internal working or training data. So if anybody who is working on AI, they will not tell you, there's no much transparency that you have. How are they working? What is their base work? What are the programming? What are they training AI with? All these kind of information is not made available to people around. So hence it makes it very vulnerable for the people to trust this particular AI. So how can you trust this AI, whether it is good or whether it is bad? So hence it becomes very difficult for us to identify, these kind of things. Okay. The FDA has proposed a stepwise framework to assess the credibility of AI models. Okay. It emphasizes identifying the specific research question AI will address, evaluating AI risk, especially for incorrect prediction with life. So these are some of the things that can be done. These are the draft of the guidelines that are being basically given, right? So improve data quality and reduce biases to enhance continuous monitoring and maintenance of AI models. So we need to monitor these AIs, and there should be continuous, what you mean to say, scrutinizing throughout their life cycle. The guidelines particularly focus on AI role in preclinical drug testing to assess the safety before human trials. So it's just to, before the human trials, we are just assessing how much safe it is to, give to humans. Global and Indian efforts in AI regulations as well. Other regulatory bodies have also done a lot of AI related drug development guidelines. In 2023, India's drug and clinical trial amendment rules allow AI generated data access drug safety, reducing reliance as well. So here in India also we're trying to do in a lot of things that are being done. So here you can see in 2023, India has also passed a new drugs and clinical trial amendment rule in 2023. This allows the data generated by the advanced computational models to be used before the human trials done alone and animal trials done alone. Impact of this particular AI guidelines. So what is it going to impact? So how is it going to impact? The guidelines help align government policies, industries, expectations, research, etc. Right? But here you can see consumer safety. It's talking about government policies, research strategies, etc. They are also going to have a stable reference point for stakeholders to ensure AI is effective in drug development. So in effect, to have these guidelines, a fixed point of shifting AI space, an anchor where all stakeholders can pause and take a stock together before taking any next or making any next decision. All the people who are going to do this, they have to come together, see the possibilities where you can make improvisations, and then take a step ahead. You can't just directly jump into anything. So this is some of the important suggestions that we need to work upon. Now, next important article that we have is nuclear energy, dangerous consensus on liability. So we all know that we have nuclear energy, and recently there has been a lot of changes that are going to happen when it comes to Atomic Energy Act, and also Civil Liberty on Liability on Nuclear Damage Act as well, right? So here we are going to discuss more about this. The government has announced its plan to amend the Atomic Energy Act and Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act in the recent Union Budget speech. Okay, so this is what is there. Proposed amendment in nuclear laws. So what are the proposed amendment? So the move to expect the please. So this move is going to, why are we doing this? Because we want to make US government happy. Okay, we want to, to please. To please is to make US or Washington happy. Okay, to please Washington or to please the US government, which is a long opposed India's liability law that places some financial responsibility on nuclear manufacturing in case of an accident. So this particular act that they're trying to amend is going to give some kind of financial, what do you mean to say, constraints. If there are any nuclear, let us assume that USA is investing in one of the nuclear power plant in India, and if there's any accident that happens, then they have to give some kind of money, or they have to give some kind of what you mean to say, accident manufacturer, they are going to take all the responsibility. So this is something that they have right now. And we are trying to amend this so that we want the Americans to come and put in a lot of investment when it comes to nuclear energy. So to please them, we are trying to amend this. In India, any move to remove supplier liability is major concern as it would weaken the nuclear safety standards. So we have to make sure that if we are trying to remove these kind of liabilities, then what will happen is anybody can easily have access to these nuclear, material, and which is against the safety standards. So how can we look into it. So we have to understand concern over costly US reactors. The US government is pushing India to purchase nuclear reactors that are extremely expensive. So we have to understand that India is wanting the other countries to invest. That's okay, but giving too much money is also not good. Importing these reactors does not make economic sense due to high construction and operational costs as well. So there is no need to impress or please US, because they are going to anyways not give it for free, and we have to anyways invest for it. Okay. Risk of nuclear accident. Nuclear power plant carries serious risk, with accidents like Fukushima disaster in Japan in 2011 demonstrated a catastrophic consequences. Okay, this one important Fukushima that happened in Japan 2011 has created a huge amount of catastrophe. Such a disaster has affected three parties: victims, operators, and nuclear power plants, which in India is likely to be public sector companies, Nuclear Company, Power Company Limited of India Limited, and its suppliers. So all of them are going to get affected. Apart from this, we've also seen such disasters. We have a comparison with Bhopal gas tragedy as well. Right? The Bhopal gas tragedy in 1984 led the Supreme Court ruling in 1986 that has made hazardous enterprise absolutely liable for the damage of victims. However, in 2010, the government dilutes this principle for nuclear accidents, capping operator liability at 1,500 crores as well. This cap is unfair as actual damages from the nuclear disaster can be much higher as well. Okay, the money that they're giving is very, very less over here. But yes, the damage can be cost much higher. Okay. The Fukushima disaster cleanup cost is estimated at 20 lakh crore to 46 lakh crore, with thousands of times more than that of India's liability cap. So you can see that how much amount of money that has been, wasted or lost in Fukushima disaster, and that is going to be more in India again. Or if you compare to India, that is basically more. So hence, what we have to understand here is we have a assigning responsibility. That is supply responsibility under the existing law. So what is there under the existing law? You have to understand that. In 2010, liability law allows the plant operator to demand compensation from the supplier. So anybody who is operating in the plant, they can get the money or compensation from the supplier if the reactor accident occurred due to defective equipment or standard services. So if there is some defective equipment that is being given, in that case, the person who is working there can get money from this particular supplier, right? In contrast, many other countries completely immedify suppliers, shielding them from any responsibility. So in many countries, this kind of thing is not there. If they are giving you defective also, it is not going to be on the supplier. So similarly, this is not in India. However, the history shows that the design defect can have been contributed to major incidents like Fukushima in 2011 and Three Mile Island in 1979. These are some of the bad examples that we have, right? So pressure on removing the supplier liability. So why are we having this kind of a, sorry, I'm so sorry. Why are we having this kind of a pressure? See, foreign nuclear supplier oppose liability as it could expose them to financial risk in India. So hence, if anybody, for example, if US wants to give any of the supplier, if US is acting as a supplier, and if there is any accident that takes place in India, US have to pay the money. So hence, that is the reason we are not having that many investments in the nuclear energy, right? So this is the pressure that we have. So they fear that future Indian government might increase the liability cap, leading the higher compensation cost as well. So US is basically thinking that, okay, there could be liability loss and we may have to pay more money. Okay. US officials are actively lobbying Indian leaders to amend the laws to fully immedify this particular nuclear supply. So they want to, give in a lot of nuclear supplies, but they are asking us to, reduce these kind of laws or do a lot of amendments when it comes to these kind of laws. Challenges with US reactor design. So what are the challenges that we have? Okay. See, we have to understand what are the challenges that we have as well. The AP1000 nuclear reactor, which is a US is offering, has a major failures in the home country. So in USA itself, it's failing. Forget about other countries. In US itself, it's failing. How can we accept that particular thing? Okay. 4 such reactors were built in USA. 2 projects in South California were abandoned after the cost exceeding 9 million. 2 reactors in Georgia were completed and astronomical cost over 250 more than the initial estimate. So 250% than the initial estimate, that much amount of money was introduced or invested. So these cost over terms means that electricity from these reactors are going to be far expensive than the other sources, right? So there are some safety claims also. US company claims that the reactors have 1 in 50 million years chance of, major uh, radiation leak. However, if the reactors are truly this safe, suppliers should not demand full protection from the liability. If they're safe, then why are they demanding, why are they asking us to amend these laws? They should be quietly giving us. The only reason why they're asking us to amend these laws is because there must be some kind of loopholes in their costs or in their issues or in their supplies. By pushing for intimidating supply acknowledges a real risk of an accident, but shift all financial and safety burdens to Indian citizens. So it is going to be a burden to Indian citizens is something that we need to understand. India's government is failing to protect public safety by considering amendments that favors the foreign corporation. So here you can understand that we are trying to focus on the foreign corporation, and because of this kind of foreign corporation, India may fail to protect the public safety. The pressure from the US shows that economy and political interests are being prioritized over Indian citizens. So here they're not thinking about Indian citizens, they're only worrying about the political interests, okay, over Indian citizens, safety and financial security. So country or Indian leaders are only worrying about the financial security and not thinking about the safety of the people. This is very bad sign, basically, right? So this is something that we need to understand from this particular article. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's current affairs. Till then, thank you so much. If you have any comments, please put it in the comment section. We'll try to improvise on the same.